This is Ed. I'm in San Diego, and welcome to the Global TV Talk Show again. With us is an array, just a wonderful support team that has volunteered to come. I invited, but they said yes. And they're not here to put you on the spot, Naomi, but just to learn from you and get, of course, a glimpse into ADP. And your hot topic today is going to be impact of AI in
Mhm.
the workplace. Naomi, please introduce yourself, your role in ADP.
Sure. Thanks for having me, Ed.
You bet.
My name's Naomi LaRiviere. I'm the Chief Product Owner and Vice President of Product Management, and I oversee our client-facing AI program, which is called ADP Assist, which is really how we build and scale AI across all of ADP's business units, trying to ensure that we're delivering purpose-built AI to our clients.
Great. Dr. Ken Lloyd, please self-intro.
Hi, it's nice to see and or meet all of you. Glad to be here today. My background real quickly, as Ed mentioned, I have a PhD in org development. I went to Berkeley undergrad, then UCLA, consulted for many years, taught part-time in the Anderson program and the MBA program at UCLA. Joined a client firm and stayed there for 18 years as a VP of employee planning and development. And over the years, written several business books. I think I'm at 11 right now. I have very positive bias, Naomi, toward your company because we used Workforce Now, and it was excellent. It was just a terrific program, extremely. Oh, thank you. But a terrific program. So I come in very interested in learning more from you about the AI applications as well. So thank you and glad to be here.
Thank you, Ken, for your time. The frequent presence on the program has made my job a lot easier, frankly. Philip Berry, we've known each other 25 plus years. Thank you for doing this again.
No, thank you. Thank you very much. Naomi, how are you? Really good to meet you. In terms of my own background, I really like ADP because I started my career at IBM as a techie. So, and then moved on from there to a number of different roles and also digital equipment, Procter and Gamble, and also Colgate-Palmolive, where at Colgate I was a VP of Human Resources for a number of international divisions, 60 countries all over the place, world, were working for me. And also I worked for the Clinton Foundation. I was the Chief Human Resource Officer there. I've rewired and have my own consulting business called Philip Berry Associates, and also wrote a book that capsulizes our mission, which is to help individuals, teams, and organizations to move from their present levels of performance to higher levels of capability. And also one new thing with my book is I just got it translated into Spanish.
Wow,
And
great.
so, and the French translation will be coming up again soon.
Terrific. Wow. Ron Cooper, please self-intro.
Hi, Naomi. Ron Cooper. I am CEO of the Cooper Culture. I was 22 years U.S. Air Force, F-4 pilot and commander. I have 300 combat missions. Today, I specialize in executive leadership, workplace harmony, and team building. And Naomi, I work with the HR people to help develop this within their company. And the net result, of course, is higher retention. I believe that when the people and processes are in place, the profits will logically follow. So I look forward to working with you.
Great. Thank you
There,
for your
okay.
service.
N- uh, not- uh, I'm so excited about this. I'm stumbling here. Naomi, the role of AI, it still has to be people-centered, people-controlled. And the concept here is, let's see, I've made some notes here. The companies build, create, and protect their intellectual property. But what's the role of AI going to be?
Yeah, I would say from my experience and how we're thinking about AI, humans lead, AI supports. So AI is definitely a supporting tool. And I think if you think about like where AI is at the moment, we're at the most nascent part of AI that you can be. This is just going to continue to grow, evolve, and change. So in terms of the journey all of us are on, it's very much a scenario where we all are learning about AI at the same speed and pace. And as you think about the ultimate power that artificial intelligence can actually wield, you have to think about, in terms of from a responsible AI approach, you have to think about, security, data privacy, bias, fairness. You have to think about all of those things. And with the AI that we have today, it's young AI. It needs humans there to direct it and tell it what it can and cannot do. And that's kind of where I believe we are right at this moment from a very technical lens.
Just to go low tech here with me and doing these shows, I use the note taker AI thing, just like I think all of you do too. But I know that although it does a really great and fast job reviewing what we're talking about on screen, it's got to be edited and made personal. And that's what I do after the show before I publish, is to rewrite what they're saying without changing the meanings. And I'm sure that you have that in mind.
Yeah, and that's actually a lot of where the technology is. AI can do like 80% of the work, and then the human actually has to do the last mile of the effort. If you're thinking about note taking, or like in my profession, product managers, our job is a lot around researching, which in some instances it can take weeks, even months, for us to come up and conceptualize a product idea. AI helps us do that research faster, but it still requires an individual to, basically sense check it, have enough knowledge, skills, experiences to be able to rationalize the output that you're getting from AI. So I think it's great in terms of efficiency and helping you get there, but that last part of the job really does need to be done by a human.
Yeah, I'm watching the clock here. Philip, Barry, would you comment on that?
No, I think that Naomi is right about that, because the fact I use AI quite a bit, in my research, in my strategies, to assist me as even as I'm trying to develop an organizational effort and deciding on what the intervention will be. But the fact is that uh, I see, since I started my career at IBM. And so I have a real affinity and affection for technology and new technology coming along. There are a number of people who are not digital wizards, I guess, as I would call it. They're just coming into this world, and it's difficult for individuals to deal with the change. So I think that the challenge that we have in organizations, and you're right, we're at the nascent part of this whole AI piece, um, but it's not going to go away. It's always been with us in one way or another. That's the other thing. I
I
mean,
just asked Google. That's the beginning of it.
well, yeah. I mean, so the fact is that the way that it takes place and the way it iterates is something that we're going to have to continue to adjust to, as we improve our focus to customers, and also to clients that we're working with, and also to the organization. So it's in all of those different spheres that we need to be able to adjust, so that way we can increase the capability of people to deal with this newfangled way of approaching things.
Thank you so much. Ken, Dr. Ken Lloyd, what is your take on this? This is the time for help, advising managers on what not to do with AI. Am I correct?
Yeah, I think Naomi's points are just spot on. Uh, Talking at it from the side of employee appraisals, you were kind enough to show the book that I had written on it. it's easy to think, oh, I'm just going to praise the employee. I'll just go out to AI, get it written up, get all the written comments, and here it is. And that's totally abusing and misusing AI. It can provide the managers, the leaders, with information, with guidance, with some support, with some structure, with some language, but it still needs that human element to make it accurate, to make it correct, and frankly, to make it human, so that when you're giving feedback and feed forward to employees, it's not something written by AI. It might be supported by AI, you might get some help, some advice, but it still has to come from the leader. Employees know when they're getting data and information and feedback that's written by AI, they don't like it, they don't accept it. And it's absolutely going totally against the process of building and developing your team. But it's a great tool. It can help. It's a great beginning. And as you said, that 80-20%, I think absolutely makes a great deal of sense here. But yeah, it can be used, it can be looked at, it can save the leader's time, but it's not a replacement. Maybe as a source of reinforcement and additional information, but not to replace them.
Yeah, if I could add on to your point there, Ken, I think it's really important to also understand where, organizations are at this point in time. If you think about like small businesses or maybe mid-sized businesses, they don't have these big tech teams that can actually deploy AI. So I think what we're going to see a lot of is that those organizations are looking at vendors like ADP to deliver AI to them. And, us at ADP, we have a huge AI program. There's a lot of governance around it. We're the first, we've had an AI and ethics council since 2019, which is really, as the technology has been evolving, how we think about AI has evolved, but always putting responsible AI practices up front. And then I think, the larger organizations, the 5,000 plus types of size organizations, they do have tech teams and they do want to build and experiment and all of that. But even those organizations, and I was on with one just yesterday, they're at the start of this journey. So, while people are using AI and people may be using ChatGPT on their phone or on their personal computer, there's a lot of use that we're seeing that is there. How much it's actually infiltrated the day-to-day of an organization's working model is still very nascent across what we're seeing in terms of the conversations we're having.
I think that one of the things that, as you were talking, Naomi, and it just brings back old thoughts about organizations and how organizations build in structures for employees at different generations. And we talk about now 5 generations in the workplace. And it used to be there's a new model that is going to be coming into existence. And that is that before we used to see in an organization, I had mentors who were older than me, maybe a few generations ahead of me. But then what I started to do was I started to change that modality, and I started to get mentors who were younger than me who would work with me. And in fact, when I first got into Facebook, I got into Facebook because an individual much younger than me, but also who much more facile and comfortable with technology, got me to be very comfortable with it, was able to show me the ropes. And I think that when we talk about Gen X, Gen Y, all of that, Gen Z, we're going to have a different model that comes into place. And it's going to be a real change for individuals who always have thought of mentoring as let me find a mentor, and then they're looking for somebody who is older than them, who is very advanced. We need to have a different model that includes younger and older people. And in fact, the last thing I'll say on this is that my godmother, who has passed on, she always said, I always like to have a person who is one of my best friends, who is younger. You're the younger one, and then also a person who is older. And that's how I learn. That's how I keep up. And that's what we need to institute in organizations now.
I love what you said there, Philip, in terms of the experience between people who maybe are more seasoned versus, you might find that in some of the more junior people. We've done some work with Stanford in terms of them actually analyzing our employment data. And, one of the findings that we have is that a lot of the early career folks, and you see it in the headlines, is that we're concerned about those early careers. And I really think we need to think about, we shouldn't be thinking about that AI is the solution to eliminating that entry level rung. We are still always going to need that entry level set of colleagues in the workplace, because if we don't have them, how are we continuing to build and evolve that leadership bench as we go along? So I think there's, we as organizations and we as technologists really need to think about, like, how do you use AI and where is the best place with the highest impact and feasibility that you want to implement it. So
That's brilliant. Ron Cooper.
I appreciate Naomi's opening premise. We are people-centric, AI supportive. Naomi used a little bit different words, but if we keep things in that order, I'm a believer that nothing is going to replace the human brain, and nothing is going to replace connected human relationships. We actually talk with each other. I do believe AI, the computer, can do repetitive tasks faster than the human brain can, but in the way in which we assimilate that information, the way in which we process that to have connected relationships such that we together, a very operative term, the team works together to come about and achieve our corporation's strategic objectives. And as Philip was saying, I too totally support a culture to where we are totally integrated, reverse mentoring, that I can certainly learn from younger people, because obviously I was invented long before the internet, social media, and so forth. And so I'm learning. So I can learn from others who were brought up in that kind of environment. I hope we have a culture to where those who are younger than me will respect me because of my life experience, that they too can learn from me, that I'm not too old to pass on life experience and lessons and so forth. But all that is a culture, and it's the way we trust and work well with each other.
When I think about, Ron, you just said a mouthful there, because when you think about culture, what we have to do is to have a culture of inclusion, which includes all different generations and the unique characteristics and competencies that all of them bring. So often what we have in organizations is that people are denigrating the younger generations, and they're saying, oh, there's Gen Y, Gen Z, and they're this and that. They haven't gone through. I was listening to a broadcast the other day and saying, oh, they just don't get it. Well, what they get is what they have. You don't get it if you don't get them. And so we need to be able to build an organization that is very accepting of the different capabilities and competencies, characteristics. I mean, that's the value system that we need to have in organizations. So that way, everybody wins. It's not one group wins versus another.
And
yeah,
Philip, I'll advance just very quickly what you said. I am a huge, huge believer right now that this is the moment in which we are in. I am right now emphasizing, can we find a group of people who will pledge never to denigrate each other under any circumstances? We will never denigrate each other. I will come to you personally if I disagree with something, but I'm not going to go to social media and denigrate you. So I could talk hours about that, and I won't.
But I think the point though that Philip, you're bringing up, which I think is important for us to discuss a little bit, is when you think about where organizations are, like, we're all at the beginning, we're all learning together. One of the biggest myths that I would love to dispel is that AI is going to take your job. And you also hear the other thing, which is like, it's not AI that's going to take your job. It's somebody who knows how to use AI is going to take your job. I actually think that AI is going to evolve your job. It is not going to be maybe the one-to-one that you're doing today, but it's taking, to Ron, your point, that all that repetitive work that comes out of, all of us have repetitive work that we could use AI to help us support. But I think for organizations, as they're at the precipice and the start of these journeys, they really need to think about if they're going to apply AI, it's not about applying AI to eliminate jobs. It's about applying AI to drive business outcomes and finding value. And as as you're leveraging the technology and your organization is evolving, the jobs change. So your culture, your leadership structure, your career paths, those are all going to evolve and change as we continue to further integrate this technology into our day-to-day work. But as organizations, we should be looking at using this to drive business value, which that stuff doesn't change, right?
Okay, we have 6
Definitely.
minutes remaining here. And Naomi, thank you so much for your time and your presence here. It's wonderful. Would you like to add another summary statement, to the one you just did, which is, of course, great?
Yeah, I think if we are looking at AI, we need to take people where they are. We need to make sure that they're educated. We need to bring them along on the journey as we take this technology and weave it into all of our core businesses. But ultimately, how we use this technology, it should be for the good of the business and the good for growing the organization's employees and their own competencies. Because I truly actually believe that if you have an AI ready workforce, that the ROI on that workforce will be a force multiplier in terms of what they deliver in the future.
Ken?
Yeah, it's interesting. I think just from generating increased understanding about AI for the general public, I think it's, if you will, popular on the media. Oh my God, jobs are going away. Your job's going to be replaced, your position, you're going to be just stepped over by AI. Instead of saying, how would you like something that would make you more productive, more effective, more satisfied, contribute to the effectiveness and success of your organization while building and enhancing your skills and supporting you in doing your job? That kind of approach. AI is going to be in that arena. It's not out there to replace you and throw you out at all. And yet, in a lot of the media and a lot of articles, it's coming for you. Younger folks entering the job force, the workforce, labor force now are going to find it harder to find jobs because of AI. And I agree with what Naomi's saying. Let's get some reality here about what it really can and can't do. And recognizing also we are, as Naomi said, in the nascent stage of this. We're in the very early beginning. And already it's very powerful and effective, but it's not out there to get you. And I think people need to understand that.
Very
Beautifully
well
said.
Kent, let me just interject very quickly. And Naomi, I too am looking at the time, but maybe another episode. I'm very, very interested in learning how to train AI, if that's the correct term. How can I train AI to learn me, my company, to advance my company? But the people were first. AI, I'm just using as a supportive tool. But it seems, if I'm understanding correctly, I need to train AI to help me. I am training AI to do some of my repetitive thinking. And so if I'm thinking correctly, I'm very interested in learning how to train AI.
Well, I think you found the right company to work with. ADP is just super cool for years and years. When I was publishing, just very quickly, a lifetime ago, I was publishing relocation guides, and one of them was New Jersey bound, and ADP's mobility management people were one of my largest customers. They use it as a recruiting tool. And that was way before AI, but here we are in the next generation, coming fast. Naomi, thank you so much. I'm honored to have you on the show.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me. And it was a great conversation with all of these wonderful gentlemen.
So, Jason, thank you very much. I'm going to work on I'm not going to do any editing really, other than just snip here and there at the beginning and the end. And I'll get the program links out to everybody here sometime in my afternoon today. I think it's good to go now, but if you'd like to have final review before I go public outside of the circle, please let me know. Thank you, Jason.
Thank you, guys.
Okay.
Thank
Thank
you.
you all. This is
Thank
Ed in
you.
San Diego, and Global TV Talk Show welcomes you back. Let's do it again. Thank you.